It was so nice to lay eyes on the SS BRITANIS once again, this time in a lineup of cruise ships at Miami on a sweltering July afternoon in 1992. For the next 4 days, we would join the Steamship Historical Society of America's Long Island chapter in celebrating her remarkable 60-year career. After embarking, we proceeded directly to our cabin, an outside triple on upper deck, to drop off our bags. Pretty much unchanged from its 1957 SS Matsonia configuration, it had an upper berth, a lower bed, a convertible sofa, 2 large brass-framed portholes, and a large closet with metal shelves. Years before Disney Cruises, it also had 2 loos, one with the toilet and sink, and the other with the sink and shower. Save for the challenged air conditioning and faded colors, it was Matsonia to the core. Up on deck, we watched as BRITANIS joined the parade of departing cruise ships, led by Carnival's almost brand new Ecstasy. A tug nudged us into the channel, while behind us another classic, the SS Seabreeze, the former Federico C of 1958, followed suit. As BRITANIS steamed her way towards Government Cut, we headed back inside for boat drill. I often wondered when a ship like BRITANIS sailed out of a place like Miami if observers realized how much history they were actually witnessing, or if she was nothing more than just another passing ship. While most of my fellow passengers were unpacking, having a drink, or getting ready for dinner, I headed topsides, working my way from the fantail up and forward. The lighting was glorious and the sea breeze so refreshing. This would be one of my first chances to put my brand new camcorder to work. If only I could go back and give myself some hard-earned pointers, but even so, the subject was captivating. The din of the following wind and sea converged with the hum of BRITANIS' steam machinery for a perfect soundtrack. I may have been missing out on some great cocktail conversations, but I wouldn't have traded the chance to have this time on the ship to myself. Aside from savoring the chance to ogle such beautiful, well-balanced, and classic maritime architecture, I was amazed by how immaculate BRITANIS looked. She had come such a long way since my first cruise on her in 1981. Even the crew area on Monkey Island was utterly spotless. Britannis looked primed to sail another 60 years, but sadly that was not to be. And speaking of the fresh sea breeze, we were in good company as Britannis plied her southwesterly course to Key West. There was probably a no more hallowed space on the Britannis than her sheltered promenades with their brass-framed windows dating from 1932. Imagine all the conversations held on these luxuriantly wide swaths of deck as the ship crossed all 7 seas in peace and war over 6 decades. The next morning we tendered ashore at Key West for a quick romp around town with our friends. Back aboard, as most passengers soaked up the sun, we headed down to the theater for a stellar lineup of lectures by Dimitrios Kaparis, a Chandris line executive who negotiated the Lurline to Britannis deal, and world-renowned maritime historians Frank Braynard and William H. Miller.
Built it in Belfast, in Northern Ireland, en route between Greece, Australia, and New Zealand.
She was already longer than the Emperor, so they didn't have to do it, but they were so insecure or something. Anyhow, on the 3rd voyage, a big wave knocked the wings right off the Eagle, and they finally took it off, but they never reduced that length.
There were passengers who would come aboard and literally stay from trip to trip. Generally, little old ladies, as we like to say, the blue-haired set.
From there, it was up to the bridge for a private tour with Mr. Kaparis and Captain Papa Nicolau.
She's very heavy. She stays.
Well balanced, and she knows where you want to go.
After the tour, we were allowed to hang around the bridge area, watching in awe as Britannis's boilers teamed with their twin functioning funnels to give quite a show. Please remember this was 1992, and the term global warming was nearly a decade away. From there, we headed to the gallery bar for a cool drink as the keyboard player summoned the ghost of the Lurline with the theme from Hawaii Five-0. In Playa del Carmen the next morning, the heat index was off the charts as we tendered ashore for a tour of Tulum and Shelha. But frankly, I couldn't wait to get back aboard the almost air-conditioned Britannis to enjoy her vintage quirkiness. In the Fantasy Lounge, there was a wonderful painting from the Britannis' since-scrapped sister ship Elanis, which was the 3rd Lurline, also built in 1932. Across from that was a series of fantastic vintage Hawaiian-themed mosaics created by Harry Neefe, who designed the Matsonia in 1956. I never fancied the ubiquitous velour seating that came off of Homeline's 1986-built Homeric. Even so, there were plenty of vintage lamps, cocktail tables, and more marvelously funky mosaics. The part of the latter-day Britannis I will never be able to reconcile was the casino, with its shocking faux Art Deco glitz that was once described as the Chrysler Building afloat. I'm not sure that's fair to the Chrysler Building. That said, it was nice to find Harry Neefe's ceramic tikis that used to line its forward bulkhead, all safely regrouped in proper order in the forward Waikiki dining room lobby. We spent another long hot day touring Cozumel, where remarkably Britannis was the only visiting cruise ship. Back on board, a festive dinner and a gala buffet were in the works. On our next day at sea, the Steamship Historical Group was given another incredible exclusive, a chance to tour the Britannis' steam power plant with Mr. Kaparis. This museum of machinery was probably the only place on Earth that was actually hotter than the Caribbean in July. But boy, was it wonderful to see this still beautifully functioning gadgetry in motion. We were all invited back to the bridge as Britannis hugged the South Florida coast, this time on a northbound course. Several generations of ship lovers gathered for a final photo op on the flying bridge before heading off to enjoy our final evening on the Britannis. She arrived at dawn the following morning in Miami, where we disembarked. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please hit like and don't forget to subscribe so we can keep bringing you more cruise ship videos. Also available from Midship Century is our latest DVD, Torn Castle, which tells the story of the RMS Windsor Castle from her glory days to her sad demise at Alang.